Chapter 7. Lost and Found. For several days after this, Harmony hardly thought about the Queen's nose. She seemed to be so busy going for long rides on the icebreaker with Rexruff Monty tucked up in the blue saddle box behind her. He just fitted nicely, provided she folded his soft leg under him. And then there was the watch to consult, frequently, to make sure she was back in good time to give Anita her proper ration of grazing and play. Always the magic coin was in the pocket of those old jeans, and every so often she would touch it just to reassure herself. But she wasn't tempted to use it yet. Vague ideas were forming in her head for the last 3 wishes, but she was in no hurry. There was still 3 weeks of the summer holiday left. She had just returned from a ride when the pouter pigeon came fluttering out to meet her in the drive. "Harmony, darling, you'll never guess what's happened." "What?" "You're going to be on the television. The BBC rang up and said could they come out and interview you tomorrow." "Oh no, Mummy, you didn't say yes, did you?" "Of course, and one thing I absolutely insist upon. You are not going in front of the cameras wearing those awful clothes. We'll go out this afternoon and buy you a pretty new frock." Harmony said nothing. Instead she put her "no torture on earth can make me do what you say" face. From long experience, Mrs. Parker immediately recognised this and lowered her sights. "Well, some nice new jeans then." "Can I choose them?" "Yes." "And a new t-shirt?" "Yes." "And a pair of trainers? And football stockings?" "Football stockings? Darling, you can't—" "Oh, very well." So it came about that a few million viewers the following evening watched on their television screens an item about a small girl who had been given a new bicycle. Harmony had considered using the Queen's nose to keep the television crew away, but somehow that didn't seem fair once she had put on her new clothes, so she had gone through with the interview stoically. She wore an emerald green t-shirt emblazoned with the message, "Furs are for animals, not people," in scarlet capital letters. Bright pink jeans tucked into brilliant red and gold striped football stockings, and on her feet trainers with black and sky blue stripes. After the interviewer and the electrician and the cameraman had packed up and left the Parkers' house that morning, Harmony kept on her new clothes all afternoon. She was wearing them still as they all sat round the television and watched her looking out at them from the screen in her motley. Thousands of viewers were doubtless adjusting the colour on their sets. When it was over, they commented in their fashion. "You only seemed to say yes and no, darling. I wish you'd said more." Be thankful that she did not. "You looked a complete freak, Harm. You'd have been better in your usual old rags," said Melody, and went out of the room. Later on, Harmony suddenly felt she needed her usual old rags. All day they'd lain on the chair in her bedroom, the magic coin in the pocket of the sawn-off jeans, and Rexruff Monty guarding it. The moment she opened the door, she felt a thrill of horror. Rexruff Monty was there. The old t-shirt was there. The canvas shoes were there. The jeans were gone. She dashed downstairs 2 at a time. "Mummy, where are my old jeans?" The pouter edged a little closer to the sea lion for support. "I'm afraid they've gone. They were really too revolting." "Gone? Where?" I put them in the dustbin." Harmony shot away in a flash of colour through the hall, across the kitchen, out to the little yard at the back. The Queen's nose in the dustbin, indeed. Good job the dustmen didn't come till Monday. She ripped off the lid. The dustbin was empty. She walked slowly back to the sitting room. Normally she would have been wearing the "my mother drives me mad" face, but this was too serious. "The dustman must have been," she said in a very quiet voice. "Yes, they have, darling. Next Monday's a bank holiday, you see, so they came early this week." "Do you mean to say that you threw away my old jeans without looking in the pockets?" "Course not, darling. Of course I looked. There was a hanky in one of them. I've washed it." "What about the other pocket?" "I'm afraid there was only one thing in that," said Mrs. Parker with a giggle. "Yes, a hole in the bottom of it." 10 minutes later, Harmony was sitting on the tea chest in the chicken house, Rexruff Monty swinging in her hand, while Anita snuffled curiously at the red and gold striped football stockings. She had already searched her bedroom floor. She wore the concentrated thought face. What did I do this morning between getting up and changing for the BBC people? I had it last thing last night. And no, playing with it. Often Harmony would lie in bed and play a game with the magic coin, indulging herself in fantastic wishes. I wish I was on the moon. I wish I had black hair and blue eyes. I wish I could play striker for England, while always being careful to rub any of the other 6 sides, but never the one which the Queen's nose pointed at. So where could it have fallen out? In here? Anywhere in the orchard when I was pasturing you, Anita? Bathroom, stairs, kitchen, dining room, sitting room? All evening she searched high and low, but of the magic coin there was no sign. I wish I could find you, said Harmony miserably when at last she lay in bed, but without the power of the Queen's nose, her wish, she knew, was just as futile as anyone else's. She thought of the riddle. You will wish to keep me near. I'm wishing like mad, but where are you? And let us therefore not be parted. But we have been. Oh dear, sighed Harmony in Rexruff Monty's ear. And to think there are 3 left. I tell you what, if anyone finds it, I'll jolly well give them one of those 3 wishes. And that's a solemn promise, and you're my witness. For a long time she could not get to sleep, and when she did, her dreams were all of 50p pieces. Anita had them for the eyes. A watch had one as a face. The bicycle wheels were 50p pieces. Here's a picture of her dreams. She slept late and was last down to breakfast. What exactly were you up to yesterday evening? Asked the sea lion, polishing off a kipper. Yes, said the pouter pigeon, pecking at her cornflake. What were you doing, darling? Wandering all over the house, staring at the floor and tramping up and down the orchard. I've lost something. What? A 50p piece. The Siamese cat looked up from her milk. Oh, not that old 50p piece, was it? Was that what you were turning the place upside down for? Why didn't you say? What do you mean? It was on your bedroom floor. I saw it there as I went past your door, right after your famous TV appearance. Must have dropped through that hole in your pocket when Mummy took those revolting trousers of yours away. What did you do with it? What do you imagine I did with it? Spent it? I'm not a thief, you know, Harm, whatever else you may think of me, said Melody rather bitterly. Well, where is it? Where it should have been all the time. I put it in that hideous pink piggy bank of yours. Before she could move, Melody found herself enveloped in a bear hug of silver-tipped strength, and felt upon her cheek, of all things, a kiss. Oh, thanks, Melody, thanks a million, cried Harmony, and was gone from the room like a whirlwind. Utter amazement showed in the faces of her family. Whatever was that about? Said her mother. Do not expect me to understand your younger daughter, said her father. All that fuss, said her sister, about a perfectly ordinary 50p piece, whatever next? Later that morning, she was to find out. As soon as Harmony had unplugged the piggy bank and the precious coin was in the pocket of her new jeans, a pocket that she had turned inside out to make sure that the stitching was strong and safe, she remembered her promise. Simple Sissy shall have the next wish, she said to Rexruff Monty, but we mustn't give away the secret. I'm sure the Silvertip wouldn't approve of that. I'll have to wish it for her. I'll have to find out what she wants. Melody was lying on the sofa reading an American magazine when she heard her name called. What do you want? She said. That's just what I was going to ask you. How do you mean? Well, just suppose you could have one wish. What would you wish for? Oh, don't be silly, Harm. You can't get things just by wishing for them. That's babyish. But suppose you could, by magic. What would you wish for? You are a baby. Fancy believing in magic, that's rubbish. Oh, go on, Melody, just for fun, what would you? Melody clicked her teeth in annoyance. She wanted to be left in peace. She frowned and turned back to her magazine. Oh, I don't know. Go on, what would you wish for? Oh, for goodness sake, I'd wish I could go to America. In the chicken house, Harmony discussed the matter with Rexruff, Monty and Anita. It's not that it can't be done, you understand. The Queen's nose can do anything. It's just that we must think carefully how to put it. I mean, if you just say, I wish Melody to go to America like that, it might mean forever. Not that it would be so bad, but it wouldn't really be fair to Mummy and Daddy, and after all, she said, holding the 50p piece up to the light, she did find you. She tipped it, and the Queen smiled at her. In the end, the form of words that she decided upon was so long that she had to go to her room and write it all down. She locked the piece of paper in the drawer where she kept her scrapbook and decided that she would wait until after lunch. In fact, until after she'd had a good long ride on the icebreaker, and then look at it again to see if it seemed right. After tea she did, and it did. So she sat on the bed and rubbed the edge opposite the Queen's nose and said, I wish that my elder sister Melody Parker could go, provided she doesn't stay away from home too long, and provided it doesn't cost her any money, to America. She put the coin in her pocket and lay back on the bed, thinking about the 2 wishes that remained. Downstairs the telephone was ringing, and she heard her mother's voice answering it. Then she heard her call Melody. And Melody's voice, she thought, though she couldn't hear the words, sounded very excited. A few moments later she heard her own name called. What is it? She asked, leaning over the banisters. From the hall below, the Siamese grinned up at her like a Cheshire cat. Harm! Harm! She cried. You'll never believe this. This is Mummy's sister, Aunt Jessica. You know, the one who married an American. And she's my godmother too. And she was ringing from California, and they want me to fly over next Tuesday and stay for 2 whole weeks. And they're going to pay all the fares and everything. Isn't it amazing? Anyone would think you were a magician.